Today, we explore an exciting theme.
Discover quantum naturopathy and essential oils for holistic health.
In one place, the power of your voice with Mike Murphy.
Hey guys, welcome to the Power of Your Voice podcast, and I'm your host, Mike Murphy, and super excited that you're here with us today, and I'm super excited about today's show. Hey, is someone in your life dealing with a serious illness, or are you maybe dealing with a fertility issue? A lot of that going on right now. Or maybe heavy metal toxicity and want to detox the metals out of your body, which is super important. Well, stay tuned because we have a very special guest with us who has amazing answers to these questions and many more. Allyssa Anderson is a healer, scientist, and naturopath doctor. She graduated from Quantum University of Integrative Medicine and is receiving her PhD in quantum naturopathic medicine. Allyssa is also a clinical iridologist and a certified detoxification specialist, which is our specialty here at Mountains of Hope. A true naturalist, she continues her studies in herbalism and biochemistry, learning and creating compounds to best facilitate the healing process of the body. Allyssa has coached and facilitated healing for many clients from any and all chronic diseases to late-term cancers. Although her first passion is preparing the body for healthy pregnancy, Alyssa's specialists are listed below on her website, and we're going to get into them with you right now. Allyssa, welcome to the show.
Mikey, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for being here.
It's my honor.
I have to ask you, how'd you end up in Medellin, Colombia?
Well, like we were saying a little bit before we started here, I came down here actually to help a friend with a stem cell clinic initially, and that didn't transpire. I ended up just really loving Medellin, so I just stayed here. I got really comfortable here. The people are wonderful. The area is wonderful.
Awesome. I love it here as well. I'm curious. So a lot of healers get into healing because they had their own personal health issue. How about you?
Yeah, that is the path of most healers, and I was no exception. In my early 20s, actually, I was never vital. I never felt well as I was a child. And
were you vaccinated a lot as a child, do you know?
I had my standard vaccines when I was young, but when we were in high school and they would call you down for, your boosters or whatever, I didn't go. I knew then. I didn't align with that.
So you knew.
Yeah.
Okay, so what kind of issues did you have as a young adult?
As a young adult, I had a lot of endocrine gland disorders. So my adrenals were failing. I wasn't producing cortisol. I wasn't producing testosterone. I was losing my hair. I had Crohn's disease. They diagnosed Lyme's, but we all know that's like the mystery autoimmune. And and I had some thyroid issues. And really, I just found out the underlying issue when I went to a biochemist in Australia. But I just had a lot of heavy metal toxicity. I had barium and bismuth, and it was so, to such a large degree, it was actually in my bones as well. So
wow,
that was the underlying issue to all of that.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Michigan, near Canada.
Which city?
A little town called Ironwood.
And what about toxicity up there? Because, we heard about the Flint water thing, and I grew up in Ohio, and we know that the air is toxic, especially up there around the manufacturers of the cars.
Yes.
We know the water's toxic. We know food is getting more and more toxic. Medicine has a lot of mercury and stuff. And what do you think happened to you to make you ill like that?
Yeah, that is a fantastic question because I did say that the metals were in my bones. The chemist and we talked, and it was probably transferred through the placenta, through pregnancy, which is also...
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So you think you got it in the womb, exposure to heavy metals at first.
Yes.
Is your mother still alive?
Yeah, she is. But it does take, heavy metal toxicity and just the whole general breakdown of genetics is generational. So just because it's not materializing in her doesn't mean it's not an issue or it's worse within myself, because as you're growing a child, you can only give something what you have, and you also pass down what toxicities you have as well.
And you have young organs as you're growing, so that toxicity is a much heavier load than, say, someone my size at this stage of life, right?
Exactly.
You're this little perfect baby exposed to all this toxicity.
Yes.
So how did you figure that out, that you had heavy metal toxicity?
Through hair analysis, yeah.
And we were just talking a moment ago, there's other ways to do that as far as urine and blood, correct?
Yes.
And it appears to me, because I have heavy metal toxicity as well, mine came from the 1973 oil shortage in America when I was starting to drive, and we would go out in the middle of the night with a garden hose, and we would stick one into some poor guy's car, and then we would suck out the lead-based gasoline.
Oh,
So now I'm paying the price for all that crime.
yeah,
But-
as if we weren't assaulted enough. And then you go have that fun.
So how did you get these heavy metals out of your body?
Well, it's known through, it's actually not common knowledge, but through the chemistry sciences, that's nutritional chemistry, that if you take in the right mineral, because metals are minerals, that if you take in the right mineral, your body will actually chelate, which just means detox or discharge
Right.
the toxic metal from your body. So it is a truly a mineral balance.
Yeah.
You know, so for example, if we have mercury in the brain, and our brain is a lot of minerals, but primarily copper and carbon, if we put that into, you know, that mineral in the right form, it will take out the mercury.
Wow.
Yeah.
So let me get that again. So you want to do what now to take that out? You want to put what in?
Like,
Like a chelator or binder of some sort?
yeah, a mineral, because the correct mineral
Okay.
will discharge the toxic mineral.
Because of a different charge or?
Yeah, the different ionization, and you know the body's intelligent and it knows. It's like, well, this is the building material of this part of the body, so it takes it and then it discharges where like the toxic one is sitting, so to speak. I guess that's the best way to describe it.
So once you started this process of getting the heavy metals out of your body, then what was the feeling like energetically for you?
Oh wow. Awful, because I had done a very interesting protocol and to get the heavy metals out. I had did a technology called an O-ring technology, which is a German technology. It's based off the Rife.
Frequency.
Yeah. And then I had a very
So when you say O-ring, is that something that's put into your body, or is it just a frequency that you're absorbing?
it's a device that I wore that discharges, frequencies into the body.
Wow.
Yeah. And I was in Australia, but the protocol was actually a 12-week protocol, but I did a 6-week protocol because of the time that I was there. And
So you went too fast.
yeah, basically. And I had a really bad experience because the only thing that the doctors had supported me was just a high potency coriander or citronella to help remove those metals.
Through oral or through IV? Or
Oral.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that was the only relief you were getting.
Yeah.
So you went into a serious detox
Yeah.
where it was quite painful. You went too fast.
Yeah, I feel like I could have died if I continued. I felt my organs shutting down. I was vomiting, and it just felt like metallic, and I was losing consciousness. And it was they didn't support my organs of elimination properly.
So for you folks watching and listening at home, this is super important. And this reason at Mountains of Hope, when we do the first week of detox, it's doctor supervised, because we want to make sure that what condition you're in when we start with you, so we can give you the right stuff to detox your body, but do it in a way so you don't go into all this pain and suffering like Lisa did when she did this heavy metal detox. So super important.
And I love that you pointed that out, because we would think that's common knowledge, but most practitioners do not do this. The vast
Really?
majority do not support the organs of elimination properly when they're detoxifying the patient.
Wow.
Yeah.
And the biggest organ for elimination is the skin. Is that correct?
It's the third kidney, yeah.
Yeah. And so we use infrared sauna up there.
Mhm.
What do you think of that?
I think that's amazing. I do. I think it's also good to clean the skin and really get the most
Like
benefit of
Dry
infrared.
brushing, dry skin brushing,
Dry brushing, yeah, is great. Even a technique called gouaching is also very good too.
which means what?
It's an ancient Chinese technique, and it means to clean the skin, and you can do different solutions, whether it's alcohol and magnesium, and it's actually amazing how much dirt is actually in the skin when
Yes,
you really
yes.
give it a good scrub, and the skin should actually be translucent.
Yes.
So, and then that's really your best bang for your buck in terms of when you're using an infrared sauna to combine that.
I really believe that before we were stuffed into these animal bodies,
Uh-huh.
that we were light bodies. And so it's a little different experience because we are a spirit in an animal body.
Yeah.
So we urinate, defecate, fornicate like an animal, but we're really spirit. But I really believe that if we play this game correctly, when we elevate to a higher frequency, we're in light bodies, which will be a lot more enjoyable experience.
I love that you went there. I kind of want to go deeper into that, but I don't know if that's relevant to what we're talking
Go
about
ahead.
here.
Tell me what you're thinking.
Well, I think that I love that you say that, and I love that this isn't a taboo subject either.
Right.
But yeah, I think our light body, it is a part of our multidimensional anatomy,
Yes.
and our light body works very intimately with our physical body
Yes.
and activates. And that, science will find out how this is working with the DNA.
And right now, it's really finding out quicker and quicker, all this
Yeah.
stuff. That's what's exciting.
Yeah, but I think the body is de-densifying personally.
So do I.
Yeah, as we integrate our
Spirituality.
holistic consciousness.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And as the old systems are kind of crumbling, financial, medical, religion, all these systems are kind of falling apart, I do believe a new level of consciousness is arising. So in a lot of regards, it's going to be painful, suffering, gnashing of the teeth, if you will. But I really believe that when it's over, we can usher heaven back on the earth, and we can be in unity, community, with responsibility. That's my goal.
Unity, consciousness, heaven on earth. Yes, that's
Amen.
beautiful.
Amen.
I thank gosh for people like you and your organization.
And for you as well. So tell me about Quantum University. Where's it located?
In Hawaii, Honolulu.
Okay. And so you're studying there online?
I'm just finishing. I just finished my PhD dissertation. So it was an amazing experience, really. I had a background in quantum physics and the morphogenic field sciences. And so it was just, I really enjoyed the experience. It sounds fancy, but it's really not that difficult to understand. But the Quantum University was an amazing experience. They have some wonderful professors, as we were talking about, Bruce Lipton, Joe Dispenza.
Yeah.
I have nothing but good things to say about it.
And what's super great about Bruce Lipton, for example, is, he was a regular biologist.
Yeah.
And he thought that the intelligence in the cell was the nucleus. And then he came to the conclusion that's actually the sexual reproduction, the gonads. And the consciousness is this lining of the cell, the cytoplasm, I think it's called. I just find that so amazing. And then when you understand quantum physics, quantum mechanics, when Dr. Joe Dispenza really teaches the field of infinite possibilities. Was that incorporated in all your medical training there as well?
Yeah, it is. It is beautiful because they integrate the Chinese medicine as well with the subtle body anatomies and how the quantum unified field of consciousness then materializes and downsteps into these meridian lines and chakras, and then into the more physical body anatomy structures that we know and treat.
So this ran across my desk the other day. I'm just going to ask you. I happened to put it in this package of stuff to talk about, but the question is, what changed in the last 30 years? Okay, so disease or disorder, and this is an increase since 1990. ADHD is up 819%. Alzheimer's disease. Now, me, I'm 65. I have part-timer's disease. I only forget stuff half the time. But Alzheimer's disease is up 299%. Autism, 2,094%. Bipolar disease in youth, 10,000%. So I'm not going to continue, but without saying anything negative about Big Pharma and the AMA in America, what the heck is going on?
Well, I guess it depends on what level we're looking at that. From a very physical level, a mineral imbalance.
Yes. Talk about that, because I noticed one thing on your website is remineralizing the body, right?
Yes.
So elaborate a little for me.
That was my thesis, actually.
Okay.
So I guess.
Can I call you doctor now, or?
Soon.
Okay.
But I know you could start prepping. I don't. And doctor, really, I want to just point that out. Doctor originally means teacher. Yeah. And that's why I resonate. That's why I'm like, okay with the word doctor, really, because, it is mean teacher. Yeah. So
remineralizing. So, for example, you come to Mountains of Hope. Okay, we're going to give you powerful enzymes. So most enzymes are 2 or 3 months old. Yeah. They're living. Ours are 3 years old. So that while they're growing these enzymes, they're actually playing Tibetan music in the background. So we have super spiritual, powerful enzymes. But we give the people, especially the first day, a lot of these enzymes like every hour to really break down and clean the waste out of the colon and the gut and all that kind of stuff. But now we need to remineralize them. So how would we do that?
I love this question because everybody has their own idea in mineralization. And if have some awareness around this subject, I think we're familiar with like ionic minerals. We'll see something like that.
What does that mean?
It just means it's small enough particles to
Okay.
get inside the cell.
So, got it.
Yeah, otherwise we can't take minerals in their rock form,
Right.
like a citrate or something. That would be an example, just because.
So let's take for me, this is a big one for me, magnesium, right?
Okay.
Okay. So, I have hypertension probably because of low magnesium, probably because of heavy metal toxic load, right? And so how would I put more magnesium minerals into my body?
Well, there's different forms of magnesium as well.
Okay.
And I think we like to think in terms of isolates, but nature never makes isolates. So we think of calcium. Well, is it calcium phosphate? Is it calcium chloride? That's for the heart. That's for the bones. So magnesium, it's like, well, magnesium why?
Okay.
Because it always combines with something.
Okay.
And so really it just depends, taking in the right type of magnesium depending on what you're trying to address in the body.
Interesting.
And in the right form, which is a different thing as well.
Right. So explain that.
So we're going into the body not being able to assimilate rocks. I just joke on that, right? Because that's what it is.
Right.
And those are, the minerals. We have to fully absorb a mineral and for that to assimilate with our body, meaning to become one, magnetically assimilate.
Yes. Because we're electrical beings and we're magnetic beings.
Exactly. Our cells have an electromagnetic field around each and every cell.
Every single cell.
Yeah, and we're electric, body electric. And when we get a disease, it's low voltage, low energy. And the minerals are what carry the voltage. That's what makes our body electric.
Interesting. So can I get them through IVs?
No. Okay, so I don't like to be black and white thinking with anything because everything does have a purpose. So I try to steer people out of black and white thinking.
Yeah.
Because, like with functional medicine, they'll use a lot of mineralization through the use of IVs. And this does support the body. And it can facilitate healing to a certain point. Like it will get the body from point A to point B.
Yeah.
For an example, if someone takes MSM, for their joints, and they're taking it, and it is helping them day to day. But if they stop taking it, they're going to have problems with their joints again. Well, why is this? Because it didn't assimilate fully in the body. And for us to get a mineral that is fully assimilated in our body, a plant can only do that.
Only from a plant.
Only from a plant.
So everything else is a bit of synthetic and not accurate, right?
Yes.
So we need to eat our plants to really mineralize our body.
Yes, we're organic living beings. So why would we think anything that could heal the body wouldn't be organic and living and intelligent?
Right.
Our DNA is intelligent. So we need something that is living, i.e. a plant, to be able to speak to our DNA and to, this is getting a little advanced here, but to talk to our genetic blueprint to see what's missing and for it to understand what building material it needs. So for an example, plants, they all have their food like we do, and they'll mine certain minerals from the ground. And what they do is through a process of ionization, they take that mineral in the ground and they make it to a liquid digestible substance. And that makes the mineral small enough to get into our cells. And it will, assimilate, and really that just means to become one within our body.
Well, also the chewing and the saliva is also, we're making it small enough and releasing enzymes to get it into the cell?
I mean, this will definitely help the process of digestion, which helps the process of absorption and utilization. But the enzymes won't break down the mineral.
Okay.
Yeah, it really needs to be... it needs to be an angstrom size. Okay. Really, really small, we're talking.
Okay, so I just went to we were talking about Dr. Chris Shade, right? And he creates these products with liposomes, which are super small, right?
Yeah.
And so he's created this technology. So I drink these things now and whatever vitamins or nutrients or minerals, right? And so he creates them so that they're so small that they can penetrate the cell and get into the nucleus of the cell? Or?
Yeah, I'm not familiar with his products.
Okay.
And I'm not sure what form they're in.
Okay.
But yeah,
he was just saying, I just remember it was an 8-hour thing, right? But smaller is better when it comes to the body absorbing this stuff.
Absolutely. They have to be angstrom size, but they also have to be intelligent. And that's where the phosphates come in because Yeah, you need two things. You need for them to have the intelligence to be able to communicate with the DNA, and you need them small enough to get in the cells.
Got it.
Yeah, does this make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
But so the other thing is, have you heard of a Dr. Gundry?
Yeah.
And he talks about certain plants have certain things that harm us as well, because the plants are trying to protect themselves, I guess, from being eaten or something. Can you elaborate on all that for me?
Yeah, I mean, there is element of truth in that, most definitely, but it is taken way out of context as well.
Okay.
Yeah. When we look at our physiology, it's hard because people have such dogma around what we should eat and what we should not eat.
Right.
And that's why I like to just break down things into physiology, chemistry, and physics.
Yes.
And really what is most harmonious to our anatomy and physiology.
And we're all different.
Yeah, that too. That too.
Right?
Very much so. And diet is actually hugely related to consciousness too.
There you go.
And
Because really, if you're totally evolved, conscious, and you're more of a spiritual being than an animal being,
yeah.
you can almost eat anything and it won't affect you if you're living from that state of energy, right? Of pure consciousness.
Yeah, and this gets kind of like into Joe's work, and yeah.
And I'm referring to a guy named Ram Dass that was.
I love him.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so Richard Albert became Ram Dass, and he was with Maharaji in India in the 70s. He said, okay, dude, if what you're saying is true, here's 4 tabs of LSD. Yeah. And this guy named Maharaji just stuck all 4 tabs of LSD in his mouth and had no effect.
Yeah, and this is truly mastering elemental command. Similar with the
yogis.
Yeah, yogis, and also trying to think of the martial arts, the ancient
Kung Fu.
Yeah,
Yeah. Bruce Lee was into all this and all that stuff.
And they know with unwavering doubt that if they can master the unified field of physics, that
right.
that bullet won't penetrate, or
right.
So this is
Well, and that's what's exciting about the work of Dr. Joe Dispenza, Bruce Lipton, and because really, quantum physics is changing everything about what we thought we knew, and now we realize, hey, we were way off. It's energy.
Yes.
Tesla was right. If you want to understand the universe, it's energy, vibration, and frequency. But with that said, I'm still in this animal body, so I need to take care of this, because when the energy is low, when the mitochondria is not making enough energy, I always say this. Jesus came here a couple thousand years ago, allegedly, and he had this great gospel of great news, right? Mm-hmm. But if Mary and Joseph would have fed him ho-hos and ding-dongs all day and potato chips and soda pop, he probably never would have gotten off the couch in Bethlehem to go out and change the world, right? So because it's duality. We are in this physical body, even though we're spiritual beings. So we have to maintain both.
Yeah, each dimension or level of consciousness has its set of laws and rules.
Right.
So, we can work on our subtle body anatomy, but at the end of the day, that's where like my healing comes in. I address the physical first.
Yes. But it's also proven that our thoughts can make us sick, correct?
Oh, absolutely. But the thing is, everyone thinks this is a little woo-woo, but it's like the mind and the body, because it's creating those chemicals within the body, which is down-regulating the genes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, folks, if your thoughts can make you sick, guess what? Your thoughts can heal you as well. And that's what we're talking about right now, and that's what we teach in Mountains of Hope. And Allyssa just mentioned it. We have the greatest pharmacy in the world right between our eyes, okay? And so when we have great thoughts, this pharmacy makes great chemicals that flood our body, and then we're happy. But when we have lousy thoughts, then it makes bad chemicals that flood our body, like cortisol or too much adrenaline. We're out of balance. Now we can't think clearly, and now we do actions that don't create our best destiny. So remember that. The power that you need to heal is within you. Physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, we work on all 4. Okay, let's talk water. And so we're talking minerals. So I'm a big proponent of distilled water, which is rainwater, but guess what? Rainwater comes down and goes down into the ground and into the rocks where it picks up the minerals, then it's evaporated, and it rains again. So it's distilled, but it's got more minerals in it, correct? Where I'm drinking distilled water here, should I put minerals on top of that, or what should I do?
Oh, absolutely. Like, no one should actually be consuming distilled water, even from a grocery store, because it's in plastic.
Right.
And still, distilled water is empty water, so it's going to absorb all of the plastic as well. So distilled water is great, but like you said, if you're not putting the minerals in, which is what actually hydrates you, it's going to detox the body, which could be a beneficial tool.
Yes.
But don't look at that to hydrate you then.
Yeah. What we do here is we actually have a distiller, so we boil our own water, and then we pour it into a glass container, and then we pour it into our glass drinking water, and then we put a little minerals in there.
Great.
So, but I know you're also into juicing and the power of green juice.
Yeah.
And so I think on your website, I think you even have an online course with a 21-day green juice fast, correct?
Yes. Yeah, really, I feel everybody should be doing at least a little juice fast. And if you look at, when you look at the cycles and rhythms of the earth, and as well as in religious text, fasting has always been a part of what it is we're supposed to be doing. And water fasting can be a little challenging for people, and not everybody should actually even be doing water fasts. But juice fast still allows you to get a lot of the fasting benefits that is supported.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great point. So I used to be a big water faster when I was younger, and I go 4, 5, 6 days and feel amazing, of course. And now as I'm older, and I don't have the ability to take off a week or two, so I'll do a lot of green juice fasting. And every morning I drink celery juice.
You do?
Yeah. And did you read the book, The Medical Medium? Yeah.
So
So I love the celery juice, and then we drink green juice every morning. And for a lot of times, that's pretty much my meal. I drink water in the morning, and celery juice, green juice, and then try to go till lunch and have a salad and some protein or something like that.
how do you feel?
I feel great when I stay with it. And I feel great when I do a water fast. And I just did a 1 week, the Zen cleanse that we teach in Mountains of Hope. I just did that for a week. You feel amazing, right?
Yeah.
And so much of it is just programming, I watch this, I got to eat that. I do this, I got to do that, right?
Another thing amazing about green juice is we were talking our body being electric, right?
Yes.
Well, green juice, there's nothing more alkalizing than greens. They have a very high pH.
Yes.
And pH actually equates to electricity within the body, voltage.
Yes.
So you're giving not only are you detoxing the body, but you're giving it the electrical energy it needs.
So I have this little heart issue right now, and it's my electrical system is out of balance, right?
Heart issue?
Yeah, so arrhythmia. So
Okay.
I go from 30 beats to 200 beats, and and everything's a little out of whack. And the only side effect for me, honestly, is I'm tired. It makes me tired because my heart is beating so fast a lot of the time. So putting more minerals in my body's got to help that, right?
Definitely.
And getting out the heavy metals.
Getting out the heavy metals, yes. Sleep is really important.
So, and as a result, I don't sleep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So like my REM sleep, because I wear this Aura ring, is like 5 minutes a night, and I don't think there's anything more important than REM sleep, right? To really rest.
Yeah, to really regenerate the cells.
Yes.
Yeah.
So.
And also too, when you're looking at any heart issue, we have some damaged cells within the heart, so it's not functioning optimally.
Yes.
So the heart cells are calcium chloride, what we were talking about earlier. And so then I would give my patients with any heart issues an herb that's high in those two minerals. And that maybe we can...
Magnesium and what else?
Calcium chloride as well.
Calcium, fluoride, and magnesium.
Chloride, sorry.
Chloride.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm doing all that. And as far as the sleeping also, I think I have sleep apnea, like 99% sure. I'm trying to work with this CPAP thing out so I can breathe because I'm a mouth breather, I've learned. So I'm trying to get more oxygen in the night. So I'm doing all that stuff. So that's got to be vitally important as well. Right?
The oxygen, yeah. I love that you said that because that's the cell's number one nutrient.
Yes.
You can have the best nutrition in the world, but hold your breath for minutes and you're dead.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And it's hard to get oxygen in our body. I think people think if we're just breathing, that's sufficient. And
we have to be conscious of our breathing, and we have to work at it.
Yeah.
And we have to breathe from our diaphragm. And I just read a book called Breathe, a very powerful breath. And so for me, I should breathe 5.5 times a minute. So it's basically 5.5 seconds in, 5.5 seconds out, something like that, if whatever the math was.
Sure.
So, and what I noticed is when I do that, my hypertension drops, my blood pressure drops. Because what's interesting, I read a study once. So 1 out of 3 people in America get cancer.
Mhm.
1 out of 7 athletes. Why? Because athletes are taking in more oxygen.
Mhm.
So it's got to be super powerful.
Oh, very much so. Very much so. Oxygen is really everything. It's the life force of the cell.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, again, we can be putting certain things in our body are actually creating chemistry that doesn't allow for that oxygen.
Like, for example.
We talked about, different diets and what is best for our physiology. So if we're consuming a lot of things that will invoke a mucus response.
Such as milk?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially pasteurized.
Yes.
It's different like if the people who, had the goat on the farm and they were milking the goat.
Right.
And
Different.
that's a different thing.
Yeah.
But the pasteurized area is one of the most toxic things you can put in the human body.
Because basically they're heating it up to kill what's ever in there, and then
Yeah.
they're destroying all the benefits.
Yeah, but it's actually just breaking bonds down and then making artificial bonds, and it's just the body can't process that.
Yeah.
And then it creates a very acidic chemistry, and so the body, to protect itself, invokes mucus.
Right.
Because mucus is a lipid, which means it's just fat.
Protecting.
Yeah, exactly. Otherwise, it would burn the cell.
Right.
And so the body's producing the mucus to help protect itself. And if we're not eliminating, like in our colon and in our kidneys,
Right.
that mucus gets stuck in the body and it hardens. We all know when we've tried to really get it,
Yeah.
the hardened mucus, how hard that is
Yes.
in our sinuses. That's happening inside and around our cells too, in every area of the body.
Yeah.
And that is the biggest cause of oxygen deprivation in the body.
Interesting.
So acidic foods will cause a mucus response, which causes the body's oxygen levels to go down.
And I would imagine then that leads to inflammation.
Yeah, acidosis inflammation is this. I said you can use those terms synonymously. So,
And almost every disease begins with inflammation.
yeah, and inflammation is a healing response.
Yeah,
So
because we get a fever when we're sick, right? So to burn it off. But chronic inflammation
different.
is going to lead to serious illness.
Yes, chronic, long-standing inflammation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, how about this subject for you?
Okay.
Candida.
Okay,
I mean,
I like it.
it seems like to me, because it's basically sugar causes yeast overgrowth primarily, or maybe other things as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so candida is fungus, and there's different types of, fungus. And you mentioned sugar, and there's also different types of sugar. So again, with this black and white thinking, it's knowing enough about a subject, but not knowing it entirely that causes problems for most everybody. But really, it's just, fungus does feed on sugar. But the fungus is there for a reason in the body. And so I like to give this an analogy a lot.
Okay.
So we talked about our body being stagnant, right? Being congested, and that mucus hardening. And so what happens then when you see a fungal overgrowth in the body, we see toxic waste in the body. That fungus is trying to help clean your body because your body is stagnant and there's a lot of waste building up. Similar when you look at a pond, you don't see you don't see fungus and algae in a stream, do you?
No, because it's moving.
Exactly.
So it's the non-movement,
yes.
and especially, I would imagine, in the lymph system.
Especially in the lymph system.
Explain the lymph system to everybody.
Yeah, I love that you asked this because the lymph system is the most misunderstood system in the body. But I like to make it really simple and just say your lymph system does a lot of things, but it's your body's sewer system.
Right.
And so the blood is the kitchen. It feeds the cells because the cells can't get up. They have a function, so they need food.
Yeah, if I'm my kidney cell, I'm not going to run over to the bloodstream to get food, and the blood's going to deliver it to me.
Exactly. And because they have a function, they do have a metabolic byproduct or a cellular waste.
Yeah.
I say every cell eats and every cell poops.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly right.
So,
And so, by the way, so does every parasite, bacteria, and virus we have in our body as well.
and that's the real problem.
Yeah.
It's not so much the parasite. It can be, but it's really their toxic
Their
waste.
waste,
That,
Yeah. And they're so clever
Yeah.
that they will give signals to the brain, say, hey, dude, where's my Coke?
Yes.
Where's my candy bar? Right?
Yes, they do. Yes.
And so with these thoughts, so we have to understand we're in charge of these thoughts.
Yeah.
So we either get to respond or not respond. Most of us just operating subconsciously. We don't even know we're responding. We get this thought from some parasite that wants a Coke, okay, and so we give it a Coke instead of saying, "Oh, wait a minute," right?
Exactly, and that's why the detoxification is so important.
Yes.
Because like people
You get rid of that stuff, you get rid of the cravings.
Exactly, and this big intuitive eating, and I'm going to listen to my body, and it's like, well, your body is mostly microbes.
Yes.
So the signal you're going to get is what you've cultivated.
Right.
You know, they want meat or they want these things because that's the
programmed.
biome that they've cultivated in the body, and now they want to be fed.
I can tell you this, okay? So I don't drink a lot,
Yeah.
but let's say I've been playing a lot of golf and I'm used to 1 or 2 beers after a hot day of golf. I swear to you, my body starts communicating to me the next day about 4:35. Hey, dude, time for a beer, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want a beer, but where's these thoughts coming from? It's coming from what I feed my body.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So interesting.
It's a conditioning, and you know that conditioning we've cultivated through microbes.
Yeah.
And you mentioned about fungus too. A lot of times too, when we see candida or fungus, we see, because our adrenals are responsible for sugar metabolism as well, and everybody being in that fight or flight state.
24/7 almost.
Low adrenal function, which makes you really susceptible to overgrowth of candida too.
How do I strengthen my adrenals?
I love that. There's a lot of really good herbs to strengthen the adrenals.
Such as?
Yeah. A licorice root I like a lot.
Licorice root.
Yeah.
Okay.
This
Which comes out of the ground,
yes.
and you just chew it or powder or buy it, supplement, or what should we do?
I think a tincture is best.
Tincture.
If
Okay.
you're trying to
Okay.
correct adrenal function.
Okay.
That's another one. Some more common ones people would be familiar with would be ashwagandha, perhaps.
Ashwagandha for sure.
Yeah.
Turmeric.
Turmeric, yeah. You really want to find plants that are high in minerals, because boron
Right.
is what the adrenals are, so or what they really need. And then when you correct adrenal function, you also correct a lot of other things too. But licorice root is probably the best for adrenal function, but there's a lot of good herbs for that.
You know what's mind-blowing to me, and I was just at this workshop in Fort Lauderdale the other day, and I happened to be sitting next to a nutritionist, and I said, hey, man, I could use your help. So we set up a Zoom call. He sent me all this information. It was very in-depth, very knowledgeable, extremely powerful. And then I think to myself, a medical doctor, 4 or 5 years of med school, gets 3 hours of nutrition. How can that be even possible?
I'm speechless. Because medical doctors study pharmacology.
Yeah.
And I think this is what really people need to know, that I think they use the term doctor very blanket as state, and really we have to know when we are addressing issues in our body, what type of doctor, healer, or practitioner we go to and why.
Right.
And medical doctors are great. We were talking about for their wheelhouse, right?
Yep.
And they don't reverse disease. They don't heal disease. They're in and they'll say to you, we're in the business of disease management.
Right.
And they do a
symptom management.
Symptom
They're not even
management.
treating the disease, okay?
Yeah.
So for my case, for example, 35-year-old guy, okay, I go in there, my blood pressure is high. Oh, no big deal. Just take these pills for the rest of your life. Forget the 20 side effects, okay?
Yeah.
As opposed to, let's figure out why your hypertension's up, right? And then let's fix that, which would be functional medicine.
Yes. Yeah, and the doctors too probably take your blood pressure once.
Yeah.
Right?
And at one time, one day.
The one day you could have been really stressed out, and now you're on medications for your life.
Yes.
Like, is that really that responsible and logical? And also, they should be taking it on the right and the left side of the body because we're lateral and just things like this.
So let that be a lesson. You know what I've learned? My wife fought breast cancer for 9 years.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, we were young and dumb, and we just trusted everybody and went with the program, right? Until after, 6 or 7 years ago, 6 or 7 years is not working. Now we start thinking outside the box, figuring that out. But my point to everybody listening and watching this, you have to be your own advocate. And if your loved one is sick, you need to be their advocate because they're not going to have the strength. So you need to be their partner, taking notes, figuring stuff out, Googling, researching. We were able to hire another medical doctor, was just our advocate, okay? That she wasn't seeing patients, so she had time to look for clinical trials, look for this. So I don't know how to say this, but what I'm trying to say is be skeptical of everything. Don't trust. Do your own homework. Figure it out for yourself. And more importantly, trust your heart and trust your gut, and you're going to be better served.
Yes.
Okay, we only have a few seconds left. Can you tell the audience where they could find you, learn more about you, contact you, and one more, because you're in amazing, great shape. What kind of diet are you on?
I do a vegan diet, very
Okay.
high raw vegan diet. I'm not saying that's for everybody.
Oh, I know.
But that's what works for me.
Mostly raw? Vegan?
Mostly a lot of raw, 80%. Usually.
And yoga, exercise, movement. What do you do for that?
Yeah, I do yoga as a part of my daily life.
And meditate.
Meditate, yes. I'm very
So if you want to look young and healthy, ladies and gentlemen, okay, mostly raw vegan diet, meditation and yoga, and you'll be in great shape.
Yeah.
Okay, where can everybody find you?
They can find me on my website, which is Allyssa. It's ALLYSSA, ND.com. And I do have a YouTube channel as well.
Which is?
It's Quantum Naturopathic Healing. And I'm working on my Instagram and TikTok. So I was never going to be a social media doctor, but plans have changed.
That's the way the world is played today.
I know. The information needs to get out there.
I know, and it's the only way.
I know.
You know, I'm a 65-year-old car dealer, so when I was marketing, it was TV, radio, newspaper, and direct mail.
Yeah.
Now we got to do all this other stuff that drives me crazy.
Yeah.
Well, you're a beautiful soul. You're a lovely woman. I really appreciate you taking the time to come over here and share with us. And it's been extremely informative for me, and I thank you very much.
Oh, no. Thank you so much, Mike. And thank you for everything you're doing.
My pleasure. All right, guys, coming up next is your Mountains of Hope weekly health tip.
Want to feel confident, motivated, and happy every day? Want to achieve any goal without doubt or fear? Want to live your dream life without self-sabotage? Mike will show you how in his free masterclass on how to stop self-sabotage and unlock your dream life. You'll learn Mike's 3 secrets on how to reprogram your subconscious mind for success, eliminate self-sabotage, and get lasting results. This is not some motivational talk. This is a practical and powerful training that will change your life. It's happening on May 23rd, 2023. Sign up now and join hundreds of others who are ready to level up their lives and get Mike's Breath of the Ancients mini course as a bonus. The digital course will teach you a breathwork technique that can help you reduce stress and anxiety, boost your energy, and focus. Don't wait. Sign up for Mike's free masterclass today and get instant access to Mike's mini course.
Hey guys, now it's time for my favorite segment of the show, and that's where we bring in someone from Mountains of Hope. And today we're lucky to have the beautiful Kelly with us. Kelly, welcome to the show.
Hey, Mike, thank you so much.
And just a reminder, folks, if you really want to transform your life and you really want to detox your body, rewire your mind, clear away any emotional wounds, and have a huge spiritual breakthrough, we invite you to check out mountainsofhope.com in Medellin, Colombia. Trust me when I tell you there's nothing like this place in the world, and if you're able to come here, you will have the most profound experience of transformation that you've ever had in your entire life. All right, Kelly, what would you like to talk about today?
Today, we love to talk about aromatherapy.
Perfect.
The benefits, how to use it, and I will give you tips today about one specific essential oil that I have with me most of the time.
Okay, great. And you just made me put some on my hands and rub it and
I
smell.
know. I needed you to try so you can share with people how amazing this is.
I feel already much better.
So aromatherapy is something, Mike, that has been, with us for like many years. It's not about the industry, the current industries. No, the essential oils has been part of the medicinal, my goodness, therapy that for centuries people have used. And it's because of the benefits that it has for our emotions. It can help us actually with as an analgesic, antiviral, antifungal. There are so many benefits that we have through the aromatherapy of pure essential oils. The thing for me that is I'm more passionate about is how it affects our emotions. There are things that can help us with physical things, but the emotional part of the aromatherapy is amazing because actually through our olfactive system that actually goes to our limbic system in the brain, we can actually get relaxed, we can get super happy, we can get emotive, we can get optimistic by actually smelling an essential oil.
So it's true that in every room in Mountains of Hope, you guys have a diffuser with different essential oils?
Absolutely.
Okay. So for you guys that question anything she just said, I have to tell you this story. So it's probably 2009. I'm with my late wife, Margot, who was battling serious breast cancer, and she wanted to go to India. And so the first week she went by herself, and she went to India, and she did yoga for a week by the beach. It was very healthy for her, very enlightening. And then I joined her, and we were there 3 weeks together. And so at the very end of our journey in India, we end up in the city of Varanasi. And they say Varanasi is the oldest city in the world. And it's on the Ganges River. And right up the banks from the Ganges River, a couple miles, is where Buddha used to teach, okay? And that's where they burn the bodies right there. So because of her breast cancer, there was this beautiful, kind Indian man that wanted to do a healing ceremony. So he took us on his boat on the Ganges River. There was a big, it's Hindu, so there's 8 million gods and 8 million monks and all this. It's the dirtiest, most poverty-stricken city in the world, and also the most spiritual. So imagine that. So anyways, so we do this beautiful ceremony. He goes, okay, and then our guide says, okay, that's over. Now I'm going to take you to the oil man's house. I'm thinking, okay, what does that mean? So we go to the oil man's house. Now keep in mind, the streets in Varanasi are about this wide, and you got to walk around a cow because that's the most sacred animal. So we get to the holy man with the oil's house, and it's really like a garage in America, stucco, and we get to the nicest room in the house, and there's 2 cows because that's where they live because they're sacred. Then we have to crawl through a cubby hole, and I swear to you, thousands of little bottles of essential oil. It blew my mind. I didn't have a clue about any of this. And so we ended up buying frankincense. So that's a biblical story. I mean, all of a sudden I started connecting all these dots. Frankincense, sandalwood, all these essential oils. So you're correct. It's been going on forever. And I think maybe it started in India. I don't know. What are some of the other benefits of these essential oils?
I mean, like, for example, saying like a part of the healing thing, I mean, essential oils are healing, because I mean, it's not just, many people think like, this is the essential oil for relaxing, or this is the essential oil for this. It also helps for us to reduce the toxic intake of many other things. For example, normally people take or use certain things when they get a cut, or when they clean their houses, or the shampoo. I mean, many things that things that we as women use for beauty. I mean, a lot of these things have a lot of toxins. So we actually can reduce the intake of toxins that actually affect our endocrine system by using essential oils. Because, for example, I mean, instead of using certain type of creams, for example, frankincense is amazing for helping people with cancer. I mean, it supports all those processes. It's also really good for those things that we get in our face. Moles. Yeah, moles. I mean, all those ones that actually with the sun sometimes we can spots. So if we use those instead of those creams that actually have already toxicity in them, that's one way also that we can actually reduce the toxicity that we intake in our bodies. Or the cleaning products in the house. There's a lot of things that we use for cleaning the house that we purchase in normal supermarkets that actually also affect our body. I mean, day by day, if you take them day by day, I'm not saying that because you use it once, but if we use it normally every day.
Builds up.
Exactly. But if you replace it, for example, with vinegar, with an essential oil, you're actually reducing the intake of toxins.
And I will say, I mean, just the aroma that I have right now makes the whole house smell better. And it really is affecting I swear to you, it's affecting my mood and my relaxation.
Yeah.
So I know there's a couple brands, and one is Young Forever Young.
That one is Young Living.
Young Living and doTERRA, right?
doTERRA,
so those are all multi-level marketing, so which you don't need to do, but you can. But what I love about Young Living, and I think doTERRA, I think there were once one, but I'm understanding Young Living has a farm in Ecuador where they grow these things to create the essential oils, like plants and trees, I assume, right?
Yeah.
And so, but they take some of those proceeds to help people with cancer, and they take some of those essential oils and donate to help people with cancer. So it is healing, medicinal.
Yeah.
So check out those companies. Where else would you buy essential oils? I don't even know.
I mean, normally the idea is to actually not find fragrances like mint or a fragrance like lavender. I mean, the synthetic thing is not going to do anything for you. It's only going to be like a smell. Okay. And it's not just about the smell. Let's remember that there is emotional effect with essential oils. Let's remember that also it can help. For example, the one that I gave to Mike today is peppermint, and that it has, for example, digestive benefits. When someone feels bloated, you can have a little, like 1 drop of a pure essential oil, and it will help you.
So you can take it.
You can take it. So you can take the ones that are pure. For example, I like I'm a doTERRA girl. So they are pure essential oils. Not all of them are for intake. You need to check on that, and also check. Sometimes there are some essential oils that can actually, if you're taking medicines like pharmaceuticals, sometimes they can kind of collapse. Crash among them, activate them more, or deactivate the molecules of the pharmaceutical. So check on that, or just take it 3 hours apart. But you don't always have to take it. The smell is one of the most powerful ones that we have. So responding to Mike's question, how do you get it? This company, there are other companies or producers, local producers in the States, in Colombia, that actually also have really good, like a way to actually get them. But make sure they are pure. That is key. And for example, with the peppermint that I gave to Mike today, which is amazing because it also helps, for example, with joint, a muscle pain, a headache, for example, you apply a little tiny drop like here in this part here that gets to be tense. You just apply and it's amazing. Peppermint is also really, really good for congestion. People who actually suffer from congestion, and it literally opens up like all this part here. It's so, so good. And the other thing, and what Mike is feeling right now also, is because it's the optimistic essential oil.
Yeah.
So it kind of lifts you up. So sometimes instead of a coffee, trying to smell one drop of a peppermint essential oil, and it's like you have this rush of energy, and you feel like good, like, okay, I'm ready for this.
Is it the fact that it's on my skin, or is it the fact that I'm smelling it, or is it a combination of the two?
Different things happen for you. So when I put the drop here, I ask you to do this. This activates the molecules of the essential oil. So you're not just smelling it. It's also, remember, the skin is the main thing through we actually get everything in our body. It's a gland, literally. So it's going right now to your bloodstream. So that's why, for example, also massages with essential oil using a carrier oil like almond or coconut oil, jojoba oil, is, if you get a massage with this, seriously, you're gonna feel like floating in a good sense.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, you're blowing my mind right now because I never would have realized there was this much power in essential oils. So I appreciate that. And which one should I? Because I have trouble sleeping. Which one should I use for that?
Lavender is amazing because a lot of, I will say lavender with peppermint, because in another show you mentioned that sometimes it's the breathing part. So when you actually have these congestives, you can breathe better and then sleep better. But if the other things, the anxiety, so it will be lavender. So a mix of lavender with peppermint will really work really well for you.
So just put a couple drops in my hand, rub my hands, get it warm.
Heat it up, yeah. And create like this around your nose. If you don't have a diffuser, you can do this, but I find that the diffuser is amazing for the place where you sleep. You create like a sanctuary of your bedroom, but I found this one, and with a deep breathing, amazing.
Well,
you can put a little here,
perfect.
here in your nose. You
Perfect.
smell all the time.
Thank you so much. Very
Pleasure.
enlightening. So you guys, I hope you get to come to Mountains of Hope. You can. We have massage therapists there, and we'll use essential oils. We have diffusers. If you want essential oil in your room, you can pick out what flavor you want to smell, and we're happy to accommodate you. So, thank you so much, Kelly.
Pleasure.
See you guys later. Okay, guys, I hope you enjoyed the show so far. Now is my segment where we use the power of your voice to create the life of your dreams. It's been a good show. We learned from Allyssa Anderson, who went to Quantum University in Hawaii and is a coach, health coach, and really getting her PhD in functional medicine and that kind of stuff. A lot of great tips on how to maintain health. And then, of course, Kelly from Mountains of Hope gave us a lesson on essential oils and the power of essential oils, all about healing. So I was thinking today I would take you through all the kind of biohacking stuff that we do at Mountains of Hope. And even though our first retreat isn't until the end of September, these are things you can do at home right now that we do at Mountains of Hope that don't cost a lot of money. They're kind of hacks for you to really, really increase your wealth or your health and your well-being before you're able to come to a retreat at Mountains of Hope. So a lot of things that we do, everything we do, especially the first week, is for your physical detox, right? So one thing, we'll encourage you guys to sit in a infrared sauna for about 30 to 60 minutes. Basically, we have a couple kinds. We have the wooden kind where 3 or 4 people can sit in, and it gets up to about 170 degrees. And the thing about infrared sauna is that pierces the skin. It goes in deeper. The heat goes deeper into the skin so that you can detox even more. And you know, our skin is our biggest organ when it comes to detoxification. So there's nothing better than sweating out this toxicity, right? But we also have the ones you can get and you can sit in. It goes all the way up to your neck. You zip yourself in there. There are 2 places where you could take your arms out if you wanted to hold a book or something like that. But I like to keep my arms inside. I tuck my neck in. I wrap my neck really good. So now I'm sitting on a chair in this plastic bag, if you will, and it's 170 degrees in there. And let me tell you, it is such a great way to detox the toxicity out of your body. I used to do a lot of Bikram yoga, and that was 90 minutes in a room with 105 degrees heat while you're doing yoga. So you super sweat. And here was the beauty of that. You get so much toxicity out of your body, you almost go into an altered state of consciousness. So it's super powerful. You can buy these, to get a good one is probably $700, $800. You can buy cheaper ones, but I suggest if you can afford to get the better one for $700 or $800, sit in it every day and sweat. It'll be great for you. Another thing we use at Mountains of Hope, and these are about $5,000, is called Pulse Electromagnetic Frequency Device. Basically, you know, the earth puts out a frequency, it's called the Schumann resonance, and it's about 7.86 hertz, okay? So the earth is a living organism, and everything in this world is vibrating at a certain frequency. You know, you have your own frequency, I have my own frequency, and they're both unique. Everybody's has their own IP address, if you will. Everybody's broadcasting at a different frequency. That's when you run into somebody that's broadcasting at a similar frequency as you have this instant connection. Sometimes you'll be with someone that's broadcasting a frequency that doesn't resonate with you. Might even be dark energy, right? And you go, oh, I got to get away from this person, right? Because we're all vibrating a certain frequency. So this pulse electromagnetic frequency, you lay on it for about 8 to 12 minutes. And it basically, it's putting this frequency into your body, which is forcing your blood to go deeper into the capillaries, okay? So we have arteries, and then they get very narrow in their capillaries, and they go out through the whole body. I think you can go all the way to the moon and back, you know, through all this capillary system and these veins that we have, you know, it's humongous, right? And so the beauty of getting the blood deep into the capillaries, now it's carrying oxygen, it's carrying nutrients. So all those organs, all those tendons, all that stuff where the capillaries are now getting more oxygen, more nutrients, and also be able to carry waste away. It's a whole system inside this body that we really don't ever think about that much, but it's operating 24/7 with this innate intelligence. So that's what we use there. Well, one is called a Beamer, and the other one is called Swiss Bionic. And so we have you lay on those. It's a great way to detoxify. It's a great way to get more energy. It's a great way to get more oxygen and get your blood deeper into your capillaries. Let's see, what else do we use? The cold water plunges, okay? So this is a big one. So we built one right next to the jacuzzi outside. So you hop in the jacuzzi, which is about 105 degrees, and then you boom, right into this cold water plunge, similar to what Tony Robbins does every day. He has one at his home. That's where I got the idea. And he just jumps in it. It's about 6 feet deep. I'd say the temperature now, you know, it's typically 60 to 80 degrees every day up there. So if you catch it in the morning, it's probably going to be close to around 40 degrees, 45 degrees, clean water, but cold. So cold water plunge. Then in our wellness center, then we even go a little colder, down to 34 degrees, almost like an ice bath. So what happens when you're into this cold water, right? It's shocking, and it just invigorates you, but you're really reducing your inflammation. You're shocking the body. And what's really cool about it is you're forcing yourself to breathe really deep. So now you're getting, the body's in shock from the cold water, and now you're breathing from your diaphragm and you're getting very deep. You can do this at home. You can take an ice bath in your own bathtub. If you don't have a bathtub, you can take a cold water shower. That's what I do every morning, take a cold water shower. What else do we do that you can do at home? Coffee enemas. So basically, I don't have to, maybe I do have to tell you, but an enema is where you put something up your rectum. We suggest coffee. And what it does is it cleanses the liver and detoxifies the liver. This process comes from the Gerson formula. Gerson was a really smart guy helping people to beat cancer back in the day. and this was one of the therapies that he used. So, of course, we have movement. We all have all kinds of classes, from yoga to breath work to meditation. Let's talk about meditation. That's something you can do at home right now. And this is one of the most profound things that I've done lately in my life, to take myself to another state of consciousness, right? And be able to really almost like leave my body, light up my mind, and then just find total peace where I'm almost outside of my body. I feel as if I'm outside of my body, and I'm able to get amazing downloads that go with me. And so when I come back out of after meditating for 30 minutes to an hour to 90 minutes, I get these amazing ideas, these downloads, if you will, to how to make my life better, how to make my business better, how to be a better father, how to be a better partner, all these kind of things. So meditation you can do anywhere. I like guided meditations. I'm a big fan of Dr. Joe Dispenza, so I encourage you to check that out. Starting to do my own meditations with a little different twist, primarily, taking you on this guided meditation where we're manifesting better health, manifesting better wealth, manifesting better love, better relationships. So those are kind of meditations that I'm producing right now. Let's see, what else are we going to do there? Massages, all kinds of different massages. We have great massage therapists here in Colombia, different styles. We have a bunch of different yoga teachers, different types of yoga. These are all things that you can do home. Some of the other things, some of the energy devices, I'm actually going to get in this chair in about 2 hours here in Colombia. We plan on purchasing 4 of them. It's about a $10,000 chair. And basically, it's vibrating at a certain frequency. And it's super good for moving the lymph system. The lymph system is kind of the drainage system in our body. It's kind of, you have the blood system, and then the blood pushes stuff out of the blood system into the interstitial fluid system. And so the lymph system is part of that. So it's kind of another way to move waste and toxic materials through the body. So while you're doing this, you're moving all this lymph and you're detoxing. And I haven't done it yet, so I've just heard people talk about it. I can't wait to do it in the very near future. But these are devices that we have that will put you in a deep state of meditation, in a deep state of being able to hopefully heal yourself, whatever's going on mentally, physically, emotionally, even spiritually. We have another device. It's like a $15,000 device called a Nuvi. It's electrical current that is really good for injuries that we can use on you. My wife, Sarah, is a certified myofascial release therapist. And basically, under the skin, there's a fascia system. When there's injury or if you get stuck, it's 2,000 pounds per square inch when it locks down an injury. And she has this technique that she learned from John Barnes, myofascial release, where she can just hold that and it kind of melts it. This fascia kind of freezes up. It's a liquid and it gets stuck and frozen and she can release it. So these are all things that we do at Mountains of Hope. It's kind of a quick overview, biohacking of what we do. But these are all things you can do at your house. They don't cost a lot of money. And what they will do is they will really help you to understand how to detox your body and then how to put the right nutrients in and use these other technologies to create your mitochondria, your energy, and become the best version of yourself and create the life of your dreams. So I hope that was helpful. Can't wait to see you guys next week. Go out there and create the life of your dreams.
Thank you for listening to The Power of Your Voice with Mike Murphy. This podcast is brought to you by Mike Murphy Unfiltered, The Creation Frequency, Mountains of Hope, and the Love from Margot Foundation. These sponsors are dedicated to helping you unleash your full potential and live a life of joy and abundance. If you enjoyed this episode, please visit our website at mikemurphyunfiltered.com and subscribe to our podcast.